The pulse of time was no longer seen, but felt from within. The 3 moons burning over the skies of Erythone were the rotten bones of a prophecy. Far from sight, nestled at the mountain's foot, a city woven of stone prayed to be forgotten. In this city ruled a chosen tyrant, Tharum. His calendar did not measure time, but the dosage of obedience. Minds were suppressed, dreams silenced. Dreams no longer belonged to the people. They were archived coldly in the towers. But one youth, Arlau Varan, was the echo that resisted the silence. Raised in the shadows of the ancient towers, he thirsted for forgotten knowledge. And one day during a botany lesson, he met her, Lena Veris. Lena was the heir of a nomadic lineage. Her roots belonged to the soil, her thoughts to the stars. At that moment, when their eyes met, something cracked in the universe. From that crack emerged the echo glimmers. They were nameless fears, born of exiled consciousness. The first conflict broke out in the education center. Echo glimmers infiltrated the students' dreams, plunging them into violent seizures. Arlau and Lena managed to protect themselves from this collapse of consciousness, but the cost was heavy. The education hall was destroyed, and many students suffered consciousness loss due to dream-induced seizures. The city trembled, but Tharum made no statement. He, Tharum, twisted the people's faces into his own likeness, using towers built from mirrors. Arlau followed Lena to the threshold of the Forbidden Forest. Inside, they clashed with dream hunters. These were shadows sent by Tharum, beings who battled thought with mind. Arlau trapped one to help Lena escape, but he was captured and subjected to consciousness-shattering torture. He was rescued by an ancient teacher hidden within the forest's shadows. No one remembered his name, but those who saw him knew him by his eyes. He was a rare mind worker who had decoded mental constellations and hand-woven dream catchers. To access Arlau's mental map, he laid him on dream-attuned soil, synced his pulse to the rhythm of dreams, and implanted a light of echo within him using ancient vibration techniques. When Arlau awoke, the pain was still present in him, but his consciousness had not shattered. It had been rewoven. This man told him the source of the echo glimmers, the suppressed collective consciousness after the death of Kamuret. Meanwhile, Lena had reached the temple at the forest's heart, where she discovered an ancient leaf deed, veined with pulsing trails. This leaf was a memory vessel containing botanical vibration records. Lena realized that the soil stored not only life, but consciousness, that every root engraved past thoughts into its bark. When Arlau arrived, Lena had already begun a trial. A carried voice strained the borders of her consciousness. Together, they passed through a mentally sealed gate, but the city was not about to welcome them back. A death squad had been dispatched for them. When Arlau stood before the death squad, a sudden psychic surge took his right hand, but he did not retreat. Lena stood beside him. Her voice moved stones, her will sharp enough to crack Tharum's walls. After their battle, they were no longer alone. A small group of survivors began to gather around them. The most unexpected among them was Veyar, Tharum's former right hand, now bearing the echo of broken oaths. Veyar taught Arlau the Mind Shield, an ancient discipline of mental defense. This technique wrapped one's thoughts in an echo-woven membrane against external intervention, and scattered memory like an echo field, misdirecting hostile attacks. They were no longer merely fleeing. One of the city's dream-powered towers exploded due to a dream collapse, a diversion orchestrated by Arlau. Tharum, in fury, enforced the Tehratic law. From now on, anyone who dreamed was guilty. Instead of fleeing, Arlau and Lena walked toward the city center. Upon reaching the council chamber, they encountered Elaxor. Elaxor was a master of mental distortion who crystallized thoughts. He split the minds before him into vibrational frequencies, trapping memories in cold crystal tunnels, a rare form of cognitive suppression that paralyzed both individual and collective minds. The battle against him was not physical, but cognitive. Arlau's mind was caught in Elaxor's web, but Laena, using the memory of the soil, distorted the structure of the web. Elaxor collapsed. His mind did not vanish, it dispersed. With him, the dream archives kept in the tower were also released. Eagles began to circle in the sky. Tharem tried to stop them, not with words, but with dreams. He showed them a false future, a world of unity and peace. Arlau rejected it. He was certain peace would come not through silence, but through remembrance. Tharem's echo cracked. From his eyes, not tears, but light flowed. Consciousness dissolution had begun. Arlau pressed the final seed to Laena's heart before the throne. It was the echo of a childhood promise. I will always remember you. The seed cracked. Laena opened her eyes. The city trembled once more. Echo glimmers were ripped from the towers and rose into the sky, and for the first time the people watched without fear. Tears welled in Arlau's eyes. When Laena's voice rose again, it was no longer a whisper. It was a call. It marked the beginning of the path they would walk together, but as they had sworn, they would not rule, they would only remind. For a people who remember can never again be enslaved. Erathon fell into silence, but this time not from fear but from peace. The eagles vanished into the sky, the towers returned to the earth. Arlau and Laena, in the eyes of the people, were no longer mere figures, but symbols. They took no sides, yet echoed in the hearts of every fighter. But this story was never recorded in official archives, for true power is not carried through narration, but through sensation, and this time there was no force left that could suppress the echo. Arlau and Laena withdrew beyond the circle. Like a wind, they passed and vanished. No one called them rulers, but everyone felt indebted to their echo, because this time the echo became not only the voice of the past, but of the future as well.